Hey guys, I'm Alex,
And I'm Will.
and this is Flashbacks, the Flash Rewatch podcast. It's been a minute, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm tired, but I'm just working a lot. Getting ready for the baby here at home. Spending a lot of time just bettering myself in general.
Gotcha.
It's good, man. It's peaceful. I'm
Nice.
tired, but it's peaceful.
I think we're all tired, man. It's it's been a few days for me, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead. But you know what? All the turmoil, everything that's going on right now, don't worry about it. We're going back to 2014 when things were simpler, where we watched the CW shows and the Arrowverse was in its prime and everything. We're going back to the good old days of season one of The Flash.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
So we're here today to talk about The Flash season one, episode 20, The Trap. We're almost to the end, man. We're getting pretty close.
It's very exciting. There should be 3 episodes left after this.
Yeah, the last one, preview for you guys out there. The last one's going to be a panel where we're going to have Ben on and then someone you guys haven't met yet on this show, but Brady. I had him on. He's a fan of this show and also like just a fellow podcaster. And I had him on to talk about the David Goyer Flash script. So he'll be on that episode too, as well as Will, hopefully, as long as the baby might come pretty soon, so we'll see. But like we got a panel coming up. We're gonna do our best. We might
Yeah,
do a thing where we pre-record some of Will's like maybe talking points for it, and we cut to it at some point. We might do something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, cool. So just off the top, I know you're gonna find this funny because of the conversation we had off mic. But my first note is so I got this wrong. LOL, thought it was the Grodd episode. So peek behind the curtain. We things have been kind of hectic recently, and so we'll watch the Grodd episode instead of this one. So this one, kind of like with the Flash movie, we're just I'm going to be telling him about it, and I'm sure he'll remember parts of it. This is a pretty memorable episode. But yeah, so we open on the last moment of the previous episode.
Oh, that episode.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Well,
got you,
hold
got
on,
you.
hold on, hold on. Let me
Oh,
get
okay,
to
okay.
it. I
Hold
gotta
on.
unwind
Let him
it.
cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, let me cook.
Okay.
But we open on the last. It froze. I was gonna do a joke where like I looked at you like on the last moment. But last moment of the previous episode with the discovery of Reverse Flash secret room with the mysterious future article about the Flash's disappearance. Cisco reads off the ominous headline, Flash missing, vanishes in crisis. And this next part's interesting. Barry leads a few I forgot that he read a few lines off the actual news article. He said, after an epic battle with the Reverse Flash, our city's very own Scarlet Speedster disappeared in an explosion of light. I didn't remember that they went in depth like that with like what actually happened because later on, and we'll kind of get into this, this is also in my notes. Actually it's the next note, so I might want to save it. But Kaylin tells him to look at the date. It's April 25th, 2024, which you've already made the joke. Well, good news, Barry. It already passed and you're good. Everything's all right. So you're
Yes.
still here. But yeah, just going into that thing because later they connect it to more of the Crisis of Infinite Earth stuff, which does have some references here, like the red skies, but happens very differently later. Like in this one, it just kind of seems like he was randomly in like a battle with the Reverse Flash, and then he just disappeared. Like this one, because originally, if you look at the image on the actual newspaper article, it does kind of look like it was like referencing Crisis, so it's kind of interesting. They just made it some mundane thing where he just disappeared. But yeah,
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that actually. Um, oh yeah, Barry mentions when he fought the Reverse Flash on Christmas, he'd say they've been fighting for centuries. Uh, Caitlin's still skeptical, doesn't think that like basically the whole future thing. She's like, I don't think he's actually from the future, kind of thing, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah. There's no
Cisco
basis for it yet.
Yeah, yeah, right. And he hasn't revealed certain things to them that we'll go into here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But Cisco and Barry realize that fake Wells must be from the future. Cisco compliments future Barry's look with the redder costume and white symbol. I put in quotes, that's dope. Yeah, it was kind of cool because I was looking at that image and you can definitely tell based off how it looks. That it looks like it was like CG almost like Photoshop or something because the suit kind of has like a weird quality to it. I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of interesting just like actually really looking at him like yeah, they didn't have a suit designed yet. That was just one of those things. It's like, oh, we'll get to that eventually. Am I lagging kind of bad on your end or can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, cool. I was making sure everything was good on your end. But because
Yeah.
I on mine it freezes a little bit here and there, so I was just checking. But yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I'll cut that part out. But yeah, yeah, he was talking about like that's dope. And then Cisco's brain almost implodes with the possibility of seeing the future Flash suit and that and basically that influencing them. It's like, wait, so if you have the white symbol, do we get inspiration from the future version of you and that's how you get that in the future? And he's like, "Oh man, this is trippy." Like he just starts losing it. Um yeah, and so he makes a reference to Back to the Future, Cisco does, where he's like, it's trippy like Marty and the Polaroid trippy, and then Caitlin follows up his comment with not as trippy as the name on the byline. Iris West Allen, Barry says, dumbfounded.
Yep.
Yeah, Cisco half-heartedly says Mazel Tov. And at that exact moment, Gideon speaks, shocking the team, saying Hebrew, ancient language of the Jewish people. Cisco's like, huh, what the hell is that? Barry asks if someone is there, and Gideon's face appears a greeting Barry Allen. Barry is stunned that the program knows who he is. And then there's some references in here, and I don't know because I'm a little fuzzier on the later seasons. I don't know if they pay off some of the setup in here. But like she says Barry Allen, CSI director, which I don't know later. I'll have to keep an eye out if he actually does get that CSI director job or not. And I could
But
be
I
just
recall.
yeah, I'm sure people are screaming at the screen right now, talking about you idiot. It was like this season. It'd be like, oh, my bad, guys. Sorry. People are just screaming as they're driving to work right now. But yeah, sorry, guys. I promise I'm a fan. But yeah, and then Cisco says director. It's like, guess you got a promotion. Gideon keeps going. Also, the Flash founding member. She gets cut off by Barry asking who she is. I guarantee you she was about to say founding member of the Justice League, though,
Yep.
which
That's
is
what I
so
was
cool.
thinking too. It definitely wouldn't be society because that's already established later
Yeah.
on. But yeah.
Yeah, the Stargirl stuff. I need to watch more of that. Like that show is good. And also connection to the Flash, John Wesley Shipp is in there as Jay Garrick.
Yep.
Yeah, which is really cool. I need to watch more of that show. But she says, I am Gideon, an interactive artificial intelligence. So have you seen like you've seen Legends of Tomorrow a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird seeing like this version of Gideon versus like the other one with a completely different voice and almost different personality. This one's like just a lot different. It's kind of interesting.
Hmm.
I guess it's like a AI kind of like Siri, maybe, where each one's kind of like its own thing. Maybe that's the headcanon I'm gonna run with right now.
Yeah, that's the only thing comparable for it to make any sense.
Or to make it nerdier, it's like how Anakin made like his own C-3PO, and then there was just other C-3POs that were like mass produced, basically.
Yeah. The other protocol droids, yeah.
Right.
That's funny.
Um, yeah, Barry asks if she knows Wells and who he really is. She doesn't understand. He asks why did he come here? She goes full body display weirdly. And like it's weird because mostly it's like the kind of Wizard of Oz setup where it's just the head. And then all of
Yep.
a sudden, like it just goes full body. It's like to kill you, Barry Allen, something like that. I was like, why did she have to go full body there? It's so weird. Um, just then, Wells gets off the elevator. Cisco luckily gets a notification on his phone that he's in the building, and they're like, "Why do you know that?" He's like, he tells the team. He tells the team, they ask how he knows that, like I just said. He said, I put a tracker on his wheelchair, so if we're wrong and he is paralyzed, I'm definitely going to hell for that one.
True.
Yeah, it's pretty ruthless. But he's on B level. Whatever questions they have need to be fast. Barry asks why he killed his mother. She explains he was angry you escaped, and he asks, "What does he want from me?" And then like Gideon says for you to be the Flash, which is interesting. Caitlin theorized that's why he did the particle accelerator to create the Flash, and the team is worried Gideon will snitch. So they ask where her operating system is, and Cisco laughs uncomfortably. It's some hard to reach place apparently, but he says that's not going to happen. They ask her to not say anything. She'll say she'll do whatever Barry wants, basically, because future him invented her, which was like a cool twist. I definitely remember that from my first watch through.
Agreed. I was kind of surprised because he doesn't seem like the kind of person that could do that. So
Not to be this guy, but especially later, they kind of dumb Barry down in the later seasons,
quite a bit.
man. I was like, what are we doing? He used to be so smart, guys. Like, it makes him more interesting if he's smart, but go off, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So Barry runs the team away moments before Wells arrives to go into his secret room. Wells asks if things are okay to Gideon, and she lies and says yes with a smile, then the Flash logo. After the logo, we see Eddie and Joe meet at Jitter's. Joe seems concerned, asks if it's an emergency. He reassures him it's not. He wanted to have a one-on-one with Joe away from Team Flash. Originally, I thought this was going somewhere else, but you're gonna see quickly what this is. Eddie wants Joe's blessing to marry Iris. Joe says no, he doesn't have his blessing.
Yep.
And Eddie is shocked, says he was doing it as a courtesy. He doesn't need his permission. Reminds me of that song, that dumb song Rude, that was
Oh
really
yeah.
popular at the time. The why you
Mhm.
gotta be so rude for the audience.
Marry her anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to sing any more of that because I don't want to get like, copyright claimed on this, but
Yeah.
you guys get the thing. I'll include a link, whatever. But anyway, back at Joe's, he's mad at them for risking a lot by going in the hidden room. Eddie is thrown by this time travel stuff, and Barry says he did it once. Cisco mentions future Barry will time travel one day to the night of his mom's murder. Barry corrects him, revealing to the team for the first time that he time traveled earlier this season. They're all shocked by this.
Yep.
He recaps the old tsunami thing a few weeks ago, and I think the reason why, obviously the reason why is because basically Wells told him don't say shit to anybody about this, but like yeah, like they're all shocked. It's like why'd you keep this from us? I thought that there'd be like a moment where he's like, Wells told me to, basically, and like further just that whole thing of like he can't be trusted kind of thing. But they didn't do that, which is fine. Cisco remembers being killed despite Barry undoing it. Those dreams actually happened. Barry says he has a really bad idea. We immediately go into a flashback of Joe nodding off as he sits by Barry's side as he lays comatose in the hospital. Iris says it's been 3 weeks and he's barely ate or slept. He'll go home when Barry does. I really like this moment. This was a good
Yeah.
moment. Barry starts seizing, and I forgot about this. And they get pushed out of the room. Iris runs away crying, and Joe stands watching, but is interrupted by Wells, who says they can't help him, but he can. Joe knows who he is. You're the one who blew the whole city up. And then he wants to take him to the facilities, and Joe says he's out of his mind. He hurt a lot of people, and Wells pleads for him to let him save his son. Wells, I mean, basically says that to him, I guess. And just in case when I was rereading this, I was like, what am I talking about? But anyway, uh, um, Joe seems to reluctantly agree or at least consider it, and we obviously know he does. Cut back to the present. Barry wants to access Cisco's memories somehow. What if his subconscious is the key to freeing his dad? They're gonna get him to confess. Wells, obviously. Barry and Cisco work on some goggles, and it cuts to like them in the crime lab, and Barry has like these like silver like glasses on that have like the little slits, kind of like classic Captain Cold and everything. Like I don't know why he was wearing that. Like he didn't he didn't need that for the scene. It was just kind of a weird.
Yeah.
Maybe he was welding. I think it might have been that actually. That's the excuse I'm gonna make. He was welding and they're like, well, Captain Cold's never gonna wear these, so we might as well throw these on Barry, I guess. Little did they
A good
know.
excuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Little did they know that in Legends he would Captain Cold in there would be more comic booky looking at one
Yeah.
point. But so anyway, the diversion with the goggles out of the way. The the goggles will help them see into Cisco's dreams. They're gonna make him lucid dream, and Wells walks in on that and asks, basically asks what's going on, and Caitlin makes up some BS about, so it wasn't the crime lab, it was Star Labs, but still. Makes up some BS about helping someone with something. He helps them without knowing it, so Cisco can describe what he's seeing. He leaves Caitlin saying Caitlin never fails to impress him. Next scene, Barry at the station. Singh gives him crap for not being done with the assignments he gave him. He looks down at his phone and changes his tune quickly, all of a sudden being really pleasant, saying, "Oh, no rush, Alan, no rush." It's like, what's happening? Barry's confused, asks us if everything's okay. Singh says he has a lot of wedding planning with his husband and humorously tells Barry to not get married. I like Captain Singh. I don't think the first time I really noticed him that much, but on this rewatch, I'm like, nah, he's good. I like him. He's funny. Like he's good for comedy relief.
I think he was underutilized actually.
Definitely. He gets some play later in the later seasons.
Good.
Barry runs into Iris and is shocked. Singh was nice to him. She says it's because he's getting married. She wants to talk to him in private, but Barry says he'll talk later. Then Eddie shows up and he asks the same thing. He goes off with him immediately. I was like, man, Iris seems bummed by this. I actually feel bad for her here. Like, I'd be pretty irritated if I was like, hey, I gotta talk to you. It's like, hey, I got time. I'm busy. It's like somebody else comes up. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, buddy, come over here. Yeah, it's kind of shitty, Barry. But Barry asks him what's up. He shows him the ring with a smile. Barry's like, "Oh, okay. What did she say?" Barry asks and seems flabbergasted, and Eddie wants him to talk to Joe so he can hopefully get his blessing. Eddie is so sweet here. Iris Thon sounds good, doesn't it? Barry obviously knows how this turns out and just seems generally thrown. I have a
For all we
feeling.
know, Barry could be the second husband.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like with what Captain America and Endgame, where the whole thing of like, oh, my husband, blah blah blah, and then like later on, obviously they reunite and everything. There's like fan
Yep.
theories on that. Anyway, I have a lot of notes. We're getting off off topic, but yeah, and then he has a cute line here talking about, I have a feeling she's gonna want to hyphenate like after Eddie walks off. So they put the Delta Wave glasses on Cisco in the crime lab. He immediately falls asleep. I like how weird and out of focus the dream or memory state is. It has like these blurred out backgrounds and weird lighting effects. Like it'll have like a hold on, let me try to replicate. Like it'll have like that where it's like going across their eyes and everything, and sometimes
Yeah.
their faces are kind of weirdly illuminated like that, but the rest of the room will be dark. It's kind of weird, but it kind of works too, like to give the kind of like weird
That's a
dream.
different tone too. Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like in the again later stuff, but in the Crisis stuff where it cuts to the Speed Force and they go widescreen for it, like kind of like that kind of feel to it.
It's a way to let the audience know
Yeah,
too.
that's different. Yeah. But yeah, so he's describing what happened in the cortex, and then he randomly has this aside where he's like, it's like, oh, I love this shirt. He's like, I thought the dryer ate it. Joe immediately just bursts out laughing, and then Barry's like, come on, man, focus. It was funny seeing Joe like just break character for a second to start laughing. Because he doesn't get a lot of happy moments in this show, let's be real. But
That's fair.
yeah, Cisco realizes the Reverse Flash was a mirage and the trap they set. Reverse Flash mentions his name is Eobard Thawne. Joe says, like Eddie? In which I kind of like that too. Cisco mentions that Eobard killed Nora Allen. And this is interesting here because in the comics, this is actually different from what happens in the comics where it's an intentional thing. In this one, he's confessing he didn't want to kill her, but he wanted to kill Flash. And basically, she got in the way, and it was one of those things where he was
Yeah,
just like, hey, whatever. But in the other versions, and also later in the show, they kind of, and I guess maybe because he has more of a vendetta, he kind of is like, well, I gotta go to the past and do my thing, basically. But this one seems like it was just one of those like unhappy accident kind of things.
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, he's confessing he didn't want to kill her. And then Cisco all of a sudden gets like spiking like blood pressure. And like he's almost about to get killed by the reverse flash, or he does, like his the hand travels through him.
yep,
And but he wakes up like screaming. Barry blames himself for his mom's death. Wells asks where he is through like over the phone. He mentions a fire at the building where Sing's husband works. Sing is on the scene pleading with Flash to save him. Wells tells him to create a vacuum to stop the fire. He moves his arms super fast and saves them. Sing is happily reunited with his husband. I like this scene. This is actually a really
yep,
sweet scene. Wells confronts him back at the lab on his hesitation and him doubting himself. He tells him he gets in his own way and everything he needs he already has. Barry says he couldn't have done any of it without him, and Wells agrees. Barry still finds him likable. And this is interesting. He asks him, he's like, you never found him likable? He's like, no, never did, is what Joe says, which I find really interesting. Because,
yeah,
like, you'd think, because it's interesting, right? Because at certain points, you think that maybe um like Wells got through to Joe or like they're at least have somewhat of a friendly relationship, but like it is interesting. It's like, no, I never liked him. It's like that's a good like detective basically to like fake stuff like that just to get information.
it
So
is.
they're yeah, so they're theorizing that Cisco might get a confession out of him. They need someone he'd let his guard down around basically. Joe blames himself, saying none of this would have happened if he didn't uh take let Wells take him. And then Barry assures him he would have been dead otherwise. Barry wants to recreate those moments to make him confess again. He knew he shouldn't have trusted him, and Barry says it's not his fault. Like Joe's just over here blaming himself.
Yep,
Barry says he's gonna pay for what he did. I like this like kind of like, I'm not taking anyone's shit anymore, Barry. Like it's a side we don't really see that much from him, but it's like really it's like
yeah.
vindicating to see him like this.
It is. I like it. His only issue is when he gets like that, sometimes he gets so short-sighted that he ends up making little mistakes here and there, or will miss one thing.
It's like excusable in this first season, but I hear you like the
Yeah,
later stuff, it's like, come on, man.
yeah,
But yeah. Team Flash all examines the hologram of Reverse Flash. They're gonna use the force field to keep Reverse Flash out. They test it with Barry. So Barry like has to run. So there's a scene. Barry has to run at the force field, and it's kind of funny. He gets launched, like almost catapulted away from it, and like hits this like tool, like rolling toolbox thing, and makes a dent in it and everything. Yeah, it sucks. Um, it's just a really funny scene. And so like basically Joe tells Eddie that he needs to keep Iris safe. Eddie snaps back at him saying he always makes sure she's safe. It's like always make sure she's safe, Joe, I think is what he says. It's like, oof.
he's
Barry
got to
asks,
prove himself.
yeah, that's right. Barry asked Joe why he told Eddie no. Joe thinks Iris would be this is the part I did not like, and then we'll go into a brief conversation about this because this bothered me. Joe thinks Iris would be stuck in a marriage she just accepted in the moment because of all the romance and everything,
Yep.
and that she really loves Barry. I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't really think that Joe knows that at this point.
Yeah, it just seems like the fans are kind of people that I guess were, I don't know anyone that's a fan of that ship, but I guess whoever was a fan of that ship was just like kind of push this
Yeah.
along, even though we haven't really. And it's also weird seeing your you're like dad being like, oh no, like you gotta like I'm not even talking about the weird sister stuff too. I'm just talking about in general with the whole like, no, she's not gonna marry this person, even though she's in a committed relationship. I told him no because secretly she's in love with you. I'm like, it's kind of overstepping, Joe, a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah. It only kind of works because we know like that future stuff and where things go. If we didn't know that, then it'd be like, Joe, what are you doing, man? I
Yeah.
still don't love it though. So Barry goes to meet Iris, but not before Joe affirms what he says with Hugo in regards to him going to talk to her, basically being like, yeah, yeah, go talk to her kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Barry thinks he's getting a love confession from Iris. Turns out she wants to talk about how everything weird in Central City that has happened can be traced to the night the particle accelerator blew up. It was really funny just how she was wording it. Like, I don't know verbatim what she said off the top of my head, but it was just kind of like, yeah, there's something I've been really wanting to tell you and everything. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like he's kind of looking
Well,
around like, yeah.
it's just kind of weird that she words it that way because even the news in this show in several episodes and Wells when addressing the public and all this stuff, they've all pretty much established that yes, the particle accelerator was the start of all this weird stuff. So
Yeah.
it's weird for her to mention that here. It's like it's just kind of common sense at this point.
Yeah, it's not some big. Well, the next thing actually is kind of a big
Yeah,
revelation for her because she mentions that nothing predates the explosion. She thinks the Flash got his powers like that, and that the Burning Man works at Star Labs. That's the part where I'm like, okay, yeah, she's got kind of her dad's like genes of being like a good detective, basically.
yeah,
Barry is dumbfounded and says her theory doesn't make sense because he doesn't have powers. Yeah, it's like Barry just gaslighting her again. But he asked about her and Eddie. She's like kind of like, "Oh yeah, we're great." Like basically not even it's like, "Okay, he hasn't proposed yet." Basically is what Barry's thinking in his head. Um so he quickly grabs the file and makes a quick escape. Iris looks fondly on a picture of her and Barry in his lab, then flashback time. Barry is comatose in Star Labs. Barry, sorry, I meant to write Iris. I wrote Barry. Iris pleads with Barry to wake up. She mentions that Eddie asked her out, and she said yes. See, I do dumb things like that when you're not around. I'm like, so the situationship was a thing even then, is what I said
yep,
in my notes. I'm like, what are we doing here? It's like, see, I do dumb things like go on dates with people I find attractive. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is their relationship? I think it's a sibling relationship and they're just being weird. I don't know, bro. It's kind of
yeah.
weird. Ugh.
It's it's not your traditional sibling relationship, so I get it, but also it's like they just blur too many lines.
Yeah. Speaking of like an old song, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
She cries that the house is quiet without him and says that he's the reason basically the reason he came to live with them was awful, but that it made it home again and made them a family again, basically, because we find out later that there's after Joe and like his wife separated, like things were kind of weird at the West household, but we'll get into that in later seasons. But yeah, really poignant stuff. I like this scene. She says they need him and then says like I need you. She goes to touch his hand and lightning caresses it. She pulls her hand back in shock. This is important later. This gets paid off. But back in current day, we cut to present Star Labs as Caitlin greets Wells. She asks how his lecture was, and he says it was good. He asks where Cisco is. Caitlin says the bunker. He might have finally discovered what happened when they tried to catch Reverse Flash. You can tell this throws him out of whack. Like there's a moment where he's kind of like it tweaks him a little bit.
Mhm.
He says he's gonna go down there to see, or wheel down there. This dude cosplaying as a disabled man and making little self-deprecating jokes is weird. It's just a weird thing.
that's fair.
Yeah, dude, like, I know he's a villain, but I'm like, it's kind of weird you're cosplaying as a disabled person, dude.
Very.
Barry. Uh, Caitlin warns Cisco that he's on the way. There's a weird moment in the hallway, or just an interesting moment, where Wells takes his glasses off and shakes his head before walking into the bunker, greeting Cisco. He sarcastically claps for his cleverness. Little does he know they're recording the whole thing. Reverse Flash says Joe almost got him, and that cops are as inconvenient now as they will be in 100 years. Which is, I thought, like, I really, dude, I know that they might have not had the budget, but I really do wish that we had seen like a flash forward where it was like, see that origin a little bit, because they allude to it so much, but we never see any of it really.
Yeah, that never really gets paid off from what I remember at all.
Yeah,
It's
I thought
terrible.
in later seasons, I thought the show was going to go on for multiple seasons, and then we would see when he first met Reverse Flash and everything, and that how
Yeah.
that whole dynamic. That would have been cool to see. But yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get that. So there's like fan films and stuff out there that kind of go into it, but I haven't seen enough of it to really say if it's lines up with continuity or not. I think it was made during the first season, but we
Yeah.
might talk about that at some point. But so yeah, Joe and Barry are hiding in the room, waiting for a confession. Reverse Flash doesn't know that. Barry even says that Cisco needs to get a confession from him, like quietly to himself. He starts confessing, saying he never set out to kill her, but to him, she was already dead. It just happened sooner than it was supposed to. Uh, Joe says that's not an admission. There's a weird moment where Cisco, like on his way up to the platform, he trips, and then Reverse Flash says, "Oops," might have been improv. Like it was just like a weird moment. Like goes up there, they see Tom Cavanaugh go like, "Oops." It fits the scene. It's just kind of funny. Cisco insists he's not going to get away with it, and Reverse Flash smiles menacingly, saying, "I'm not going to get away with it." And then, like right then, Cisco activates the force field, and Reverse Flash chuckles, saying he's smart but not that smart, and walks through the barrier. Caitlin immediately runs to the rescue. I like that she like immediately was going to come help her. I mean, realistically, what's she going to do? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, I appreciate the sentiment, but it's like Barry's going to realistically be the only one that's going to be able to stop anything here.
Yes.
But so yeah, so Caitlin runs to the rescue. Joe doesn't waste any time and fires off three shots at Reverse Flash, but Barry intercepts them from Cisco. Like basically Reverse Flash might be killed soon. He missed one and it goes through Reverse Flash. Like it goes through Reverse Flash. It travels through the force field. Yeah, stopping like basically it stopped Barry from grabbing it because of how strong the force field was. Barry says he didn't confess. Reverse Flash falls over dead. Caitlin checks on Cisco. Yeah, I'm okay, but I'm never ever gonna sleep again, is what Cisco says. I love Cisco. He's so good. Um, Barry knows this was their only shot, saying his dad is going to be in prison forever now. Joe apologizes, but wait, the body shifts from Reverse Flash to the shapeshifter. Um, so he wasn't even there. Wells comes over the intercom, and I wrote a lot of this, a lot of this dialogue, like this, just hang in there with me. There's like a block of text here. I just wanted to address all this because it's good stuff
Yeah.
we can go into. Yeah. So, he says, I told you this before. I'm always one step ahead of you, Flash. Allow me to reintroduce you to Mr. Hannibal Bates and his incredible ability to transform into any person he touches. I knew that ability would come in handy. I just didn't expect it to come in handy this soon. And then like Barry, uh, you used him like you used all of us. Like he's really angry. He served a purpose. He didn't take much convincing, just a simple promise of his freedom. Like we really see the depths of, and I know that we obviously know that Reverse Flash is like scum, but we literally see how terrible of a person he is there. Because
Yep.
like I think that, and this is good. Like and I'm gonna keep going into this, but it's like good that they do this because I feel like if they didn't have a scene like this, that you'd be like, oh, well, he's like really nice to Barry and everything. How bad could he be? I'm like, Nah, he's literally the worst. Just because he's
Yeah.
nice to Barry, it's self-serving. Like you guys don't realize that, but yeah. So yeah, he promises his freedom. You ruined my life, all of our lives, is what Barry says. And then Caitlin said, "We stood up for you. We stood up, or stood by you. Sorry, after everything that happened." Reverse Flash. I could see how this could be difficult for you to understand, but trust me, your lives now are so much better because of what I've done for you. Classic narcissist, bro, being like,
For
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah, I know you think I ruined your life, but when you really look at it, maybe I improved it. Jesus. But Joe, you don't have to hide anymore. We know you're not Harrison Wells. Just tell us who you are. And he's like, a confession will get you nowhere. You've seen who I am. You know what I can do. Barry, you want to kill me, go ahead. I'm not going to fight you, but just tell the police what you did. Get my dad out of prison. I don't want to kill you, Barry. I need you. And also, did not anticipate as difficult as the past 15 years have been for me, how much I would come to love working with you, with all of you. And yet that does not change what needs to happen. I really like this moment because it really like gives you like it peers into the character a little bit and shows you he's not just like a conniving villain. Like yeah, like he did grow. That's what makes this version of Reverse Flash so interesting
Hmm.
is that like he has this like, deep emotional attachment to them, but at the same time it doesn't fucking matter. Like he is gonna do what he needs to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very well
Um
written.
yeah, exactly. Like this first, like I kind of wish they kept this version of him around longer because later on he's still good, but he's just like sadistic without that extra side of like that
There's no
pathos.
layers to him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no layers. It's just basic comic book Reverse Flash. But yeah. And so Barry, then face me now. Oh, we will face each other again, I promise you, soon, very soon. And then like I like this. He's in the time vault, like they Cisco's thing lights up. And then like Cisco yells for him to go over there. Barry speeds off as Joe yells after him. The door is open, the wheelchair is there, but Wells and the suit are gone. There's a holographic display on the area where Gideon was before. He's been watching their movements from the beginning. The evidence, murder board in the lab, everything. They got trapped trying to trap him, basically, is what Barry says. This was a crazy reveal that he's been watching them, but it does make sense when you go back and watch. Like it's a twist, but it's not a twist that doesn't come out of nowhere because like they like basically like how would he know that like certain people are researching him and everything like that one guy at the Central City newspaper thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so like it makes sense. But Barry runs back to Team Flash in the main lab of Star Labs. He yells they need to find Iris, and Barry reveals what we already know from the prior scene. He grabs the suit telling Cisco to call him when he has her location and speeds off. Eddie and Iris are having a pleasant stroll down the bridge, and Iris muses they needed a good stroll. Eddie, it's just a cute scene. Eddie asks if she'd mind if they parked for a second. She gets a phone call from Joe. Um, oh wait, sorry. She gets a phone call suddenly. It's Joe. Eddie asks if she could call him back later. She agrees, and he starts talking about when he was arrested. She never wavered. She says it's basically impossible. He mentions he knows they've been going through it recently. He's never lost faith in them. Reaches for the ring. Iris West, Eddie? She says confused. A streak of lightning takes the ring box and runs back, knocking over basically knocking him over. Iris yells, Eddie, it's the reverse flash. And then he has like he's got like a lot of puns in this. Like Reverse Flash is enjoying himself or just like one-liners where he's just like bad timing detective. It's like Eddie goes for the gun and aims it at him. Reverse Flash grabs him, stopping him, and Eddie yells for her to stay back. He throws Eddie aside, and Iris tells him she knows who he is. She knows he killed Barry's mom, but he doesn't have to hurt anyone else. Barry speeds to save her, but not before Reverse Flash runs off with Eddie. She freaks out, but Flash tells her it's him and it's okay with a blurred face. I get why she'd be freaked out, especially after dealing with Reverse Flash with his blurred out face, just being
Yes.
like another one being like, "Oh shit, what's happening now?" But yeah, so he tells her it's okay. Iris frantically tells him the man in yellow took Eddie. He promises her he'll find him and tells her to go home. He tells her to keep what happened a secret, grabbing her hand. The lightning lingers like it did in the flashback. So kind of like in one of, I'm sure it's one of your favorites too, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Instead of a kiss this time, we have like the little lightning thing, and she's like,
Yep.
Barry? Like I like this trope. How do you feel about this whole trope?
No, I like that. It's when you've been in the same house for so long and stuff like that too. It's like even just different mannerisms and like sometimes you just have just a feeling.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
makes sense. I mean, it doesn't, but it does.
It makes more sense than a kiss, I think, because at least with
Yeah.
lightning, it's like that's a very unique experience. So it's
Hmm.
like, I mean, like unless you knew some other metahuman somewhere, I feel like it'd be like, okay, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like she knows it's Barry, and then end logo. Post credits, Reverse Flash throws an injured Eddie on the ground in a warehouse looking area. I definitely remembered this. He tells him there's no point in the mask. He knows it's Wells or whoever he is. He introduces himself as Eobard Thawne. Eddie asks why he has his name. It's because they're family. In a humorous
Plot
tone.
twist.
Oh yeah, yeah, no plot twist. In a humorous tone, Eddie goes, "Funny, I haven't seen you at any reunions or weddings." He says. He said it is funny. He banters that it's because, as far as guest lists are concerned, he hasn't been born yet. I did like this. I do definitely remember this scene. Like this was epic the first time around. Like just
Yeah.
seeing them because I think at the time, I don't know if you had theories, but I think a lot of people thought that Eddie might secretly be the Reverse Flash a little bit
Yeah. With that
before
last name,
everything.
Thawne, and the teasing of it all.
And
Yeah.
if we're gonna go to Arrow too, with the whole Tommy Merlin thing and how people
Yep.
thought that like he was secretly the bad guy, like they have a little bit of a there's a little bit of a formula we're starting to notice with these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not to the point now where it's just super predictable though. Like it's still fresh at this point.
Hmm.
Because I feel like this one I do love. What I guess we can take a pause real quick. If you had to pick, which one do you like more, Eddie or Tommy?
Oh, that's a tough one right there. I
Yeah,
think so. In the context of that is a tough one. I'm me personally. I'm going to say Tommy, but Tommy was also. I feel like Tommy had a lot more to do, or he was given a lot more to do with the writers, and I feel like
definitely.
he had more depth as a character. We don't
Hmm.
really get a lot of Eddie's personal backstory, which I think would have been a little bit better to see. We get like a hint
Yeah.
of it sometimes, but mainly he's just the other love interest of the female lead, and he's just a good guy. Whereas with Tommy, there was some complexity with it because he was also Oliver's best friend and
And he
coming back, and
grew.
that was his girl, and he also grew. Yeah, he grew from being
Yeah.
this like playboy druggie, like, drug dealer or whatever to
Hmm.
basically actually being a good guy and wanting to settle down with Laurel at the end. And while they both, spoiler, met
It's an
met
old
met
show. It's fine.
You're right. Well, while they both met a timely demise, it was both in a heroic way as well.
Yeah. That
So,
that definitely I was remembering back, and we'll get back to it because we're almost done. We're gonna wrap this up in a minute. But like yeah, I do remember that season one finale of Arrow and just be like, wait, what? He's dead? And just that whole
that
thing
was
of
tough.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I was like, geez. Like that's when I knew it was like something special, like just taking risks like that. And then he
Hmm.
loses at the end of the season. Like he doesn't win, which is like
Yeah.
they didn't do stuff like that back then. Like that was like unique to like that show. But yeah, good stuff. So yeah, so he puts two and two together and says that's why he didn't kill him that night at Star Labs. Eddie says that to Eobard. This whole thing has been about me, and then poor Eddie, man. We love Eddie so much. I'm about to get his heart broken. Verse Flash says, "Not a chance. You, my friend, are simply my insurance." Flashback to Star Labs as Wells chuckles to himself, looking at comatose Barry. "You look so young," stands up. "I could kill you right now so easily." He vibrates his hand and then he stops. What I would have given all those times before to have you like this, so helpless. But fate is tricky, isn't it? I come here to destroy you, and then to go home, I have to be the one that creates you, which is really cool. Chuckles,
Yeah.
but I will say it's been an education watching you grow up all these years. This part was interesting. I didn't know he did this. Science fairs and soccer games. No hint, no sign, no trace of the man you will become one day, for whom I have nothing but hate. And to be clear, nothing is forgiven. There will be a reckoning, I promise you, Barry Allen, then you will die. And then that's the end of the episode. Man, what a final monologue, am I right?
Oh, definitely. His writing for that character was always great, though.
Yeah. He makes it sing recently. And also while I'm thinking of this, this is unrelated. This is gonna be a tangent before we get into final stuff. Have you heard about a show? I don't think it came to the States, but I found it on Amazon. It's called The Professionals. And it has Tom Welling in it and also Brendan Fraser. Both of them are in the show together.
Mhm.
Like it's like an
Yes.
action show. It's good. It's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of cool seeing like Tom Welling act in things now.
I've heard of it. I have not seen it, but yeah.
It's fun. I've also been watching, speaking of Smallville, that Tracker show with I started that the other day with
With Justin Hartley.
yeah, man, he's
Yeah.
great. Like that's so good. But yeah, like I've been watching that too. Just some procedural stuff just to mix it up. I don't watch just all superhero stuff here, guys. Like I do watch other things, I promise. But
Yeah,
yeah.
like the penguin. That doesn't really count, right?
Depending on who you talk to, I mean, But yeah, so obviously, this episode was amazing. I would give it like 4 out of 5 lightning bolts. I'm
Hmm.
saving the five for like probably the finale. We'll see how the next episode is. You've already traveled to the future, so you know how good the next episode is. So we'll see what Will thinks next time. But this time I
4 out of 5.
promise. Yeah, yeah, there we go. This time I promise the next one's gonna be about Grog, 'cause I know I said that in the previous one. But
God
my heart.
lives.
That's right. My heart, humor, and spectacle would be the heart moment would actually be like for once, it's the scene with Iris and Barry with the whole like you made us a family again and everything. I thought that was really powerful. And then the humor would be there's like a few funny moments. I guess I'm trying to think. Um Oh, the just the Cisco stuff with the whole like, I love this shirt. I thought my dryer ate it or something. Like I thought that was pretty funny and seeing Joe break. And then the spectacle would be, I'm trying to think what the spectacle, I guess just honestly, just the stuff with Wells. There wasn't a lot of like action scenes in this, but just that scene, like that whole scene with the force field and everything was just really powerful. And then the whole reveal that he's, been watching them the whole time like that. I guess that would be my spectacle for that. But
Yeah.
yeah. And then, I mean, I guess like you could do just based off my summary, maybe like what you liked, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, this was your typical episode, I think, as you get
Hmm.
towards the end of a TV season like this, where all of a sudden the curtain's been pulled back, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing left to be hidden. There's nothing left to be revealed. This is that final, 4 episode march. This episode, actually, from what you described, feels
Hmm.
like it should have been uh, the one after Grog lives,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting in a lot of ways. But that's neither here nor there. But it's a good Wells episode. A lot of good setup for stuff like that, and we get some backstory with Eddie and other things to kind of set up those final 2 episodes after Grodd lives, which I think
Yeah.
will pay off a lot more there.
Oh, dude, we're in the as the Avengers would say, we're in the end game now, at least for this season.
Yes.
But yeah, I know I'm mixing my metaphors, guys. Like, calm down. Like, I know it's like Marvel, DC. There's some weird rivalry. Leave it alone. Anyway, I promise I'm DC. Look at this. I got the Superman,
It-
2026. It comes out next year, right? Or is it
2025. Yeah. June, I believe
2025?
June 2025. Yeah.
I already skipped a year because I was thinking of when the Batman part two comes out. But yeah, also looking
And
forward to
by
that.
the way, for any DC fans out there right now, because this is actually super important, next month in December is when the first part of the new DCU launches, which is Creature
Ooh.
Commandos, which will be on Max. So make sure you guys lock in and check that out. We got to support this if we want them to keep making like really good content going forward.
You know what's funny? Because I was thinking about this recently, just like we can relate this to the DCU and stuff like that. So when Man of Steel came out, I was really hyped about it, and so I got
Hmm.
that shirt for the merch, and it's completely different in terms of tone. Like, it has the Superman logo, but
Yeah.
it's like a black background and like kind of dark, and like the
Hmm.
colors are muted a bit. And then you got this one right here where the colors are all light and everything and vibrant and like it's like a huge symbol, and I'm like, it's interesting to see like the tonal differences even down to the merch is just kind of like you wouldn't even think it'd be that different, but it is.
Yeah, I'm super excited for what James Gunn has in store. I think it's all going to be great.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen him make too many bad decisions with properties like this, and he's shown he can handle a vast array of different characters, especially when
Yeah.
also on screen together. So everything I've seen so far looks great, and supposedly we should be getting a trailer next month for Superman. That's what I've heard.
Ooh,
But
can't wait.
guess we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, I think Creature Commandos will also be good because we know he knows how to do Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff. So like
Yeah,
that's kind of what that seems like. So we know at least that will be, because people are like, really? That's your first one? I'm like, I mean, technically Superman the movie is the
bro.
first
Listen,
one.
the trailer looks good. I think at this point, someone did something I saw on like X, I believe, or something like that, where
Hmm.
Creature Commandos trailer in the first week had more views than the season two trailer for Invincible did.
Wow. It's
So
because it's new, probably.
yeah, it's new. I think the hype is there. I think people want to see what the DCU is about. Plus, you never know what other characters might pop up in that.
That's right. And they're also, what's cool, and I know this is, I'm not telling any new news here, but I know that like the characters that are animated in this are also going to be playing them in live action, which should be cool to
Yeah,
see. Yeah. So that's
like
exciting.
you'll get to see. I guess the best example of that coming up will be Frank Grillo, who plays Rick Flag Sr.
Right.
He'll be playing him in live action. He'll be in Creature Commandos. He's also, I guess, most people listen to this would know him from the either the Purge movies or as Crossbones and the Avengers films. He's also in Tulsa King right now with Sylvester Stallone, but
I haven't seen that
a
show
different thing
yet.
to check out. Yeah.
Yeah. But cool. Yeah, so look forward to the next one. We are running to the finale, I guess. I was trying to think of like a Flash related pun. It's
Yeah.
late, I'm tired. Or it's yeah, it's tired and I'm late. But anyway, I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap this up. Wait, before I do that though, do you have any plugs?
No, not right now.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I almost forgot to do mine. So mine's
Yeah.
obviously Flashbacks, the thing you're watching right now. We do an episode by episode rewatch of the Flash CW show. We also will cover in our off seasons, and we already have kind of started doing this, the 90s show. And then like script deep dives, maybe fan films, Young Justice, Smallville, stuff like that, or we're
Yeah.
definitely going to be in our future. But yeah, so like we have that on this. This is one of our more popular shows. But and then we have Night of the Batman, which me and my wife are doing together. We actually have a exciting interview coming up pretty soon. With recently, I guess I could talk about this now. We Ben is going to be joining me for an interview with. We recently reviewed Batman Resurrection, that novel that came out about the Batman 89 and everything.
Mhm.
And we asked the writer of that, Mr. Miller, to come on the show, and he agreed. So pretty soon we'll be interviewing him. So that'll be pretty fun. I really did enjoy that book. So definitely go check that out, guys, if you haven't yet. And then obviously, after that, Tangential Exchange. I have 2 episodes in the chamber. I'm going to release that soon. And then What Mean, that's going to come back when I have stuff to talk about, basically, that's outside of that. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll talk about the professionals if it really, I got a lot to say. It seems like it's just fun background noise, though. Sorry, Tom Welling. But anyway, I watched that show for Brendan Fraser and Tom Welling's performance, not necessarily for the dialogue. That's all I'm going to say. But
Yeah.
yeah. So that's it for me, and I guess we'll just go ahead and do our outro now. So Will, whenever you're ready, 1, 2, 3, go. We will see
See you
you
in the
in the
Speed
Speed Force.
Force.